Did you guys know that when you look up VPN on Google, the first thing that pops up is NordVPN? That just goes to show you how popular it is. But in today's video, we're going to ask the question, is there anything better than NordVPN? And we come to this conclusion from honest, verifiable, objective data testing, which you can always find on vpntierlist.com. Now, NordVPN right now is currently sitting number one out of all the VPNs. And honestly, it's a good number of points behind some of the other ones. Some of the other ones here, you can see I've pretty much rated every single VPN out there right now that's active. And a lot of ones I've even reviewed that aren't even active anymore. Probably a decent number of these aren't even active anymore. Lots of them don't even really get consistent updates. But today, focusing more on NordVPN. Is it really the best one? Is there a better VPN? Well, that kind of depends on your use cases. Now, Nord isn't the perfect VPN provider. I've pretty much shown every little feature VPNs have and, where they stack against each other. And as you can see, there's a wide disparity of different points and things like that. So is there a VPN better than NordVPN at one specific thing? Well, sure. Some VPNs have a little bit cheaper month-to-month pricing, not as cheap maybe for 3 years or 2 years, but the month-to-month is a little bit cheaper. We can also take a look at some other things, For example, some VPNs have a little bit different features offered in their bundled offerings. Stuff like Surfshark, for example. They include a data broker removal tool and Cogni built in with their kind of bundled offering. It's also a little bit cheaper long term. That said, comparing Nord to Surfshark, Nord does have some things that Surfshark does not. For example, the Linux client is actually open source. They also have a password manager and encrypted cloud storage, whereas Surfshark does not. So you guys might be seeing some of the picture here. All VPNs offer unique value propositions depending on specific features. For example, Proton VPN has all open source clients, but at the end of the day, NordVPN does have a bigger server network and it's faster and it has cool features like the MeshNet feature, which allows you to use remote VPN capability. No other VPN has this built in. I've made several videos on MeshNet and it's really good for making your own media server and even letting people on your network for LAN gaming. But some of the things that Nord does as an aggregate make it the best VPN. Is there a better VPN than it? Well, or aggregately, not really. It's a big VPN provider. They've spent tons of money on stuff like having lots of customer support representatives, having tons of servers, having very active development. As far as I know, it was one of the first VPNs that had Apple TV applications. It's been audited 5 times now, which is crazy to prove they don't collect logs. No other VPN has been audited 5 times. It costs money to do that many no-log audits. Additionally, we've done speed tests here on the channel, proving how kind of fast and effective the servers are. Additionally, I've done extensive testing with NordVPN streaming compatibility, and bar none, it works with more regions of Netflix than any out there. Some VPNs actually require you to buy bundles and upsells just to get streaming working. And at the end of the day, a lot of VPNs just can't compete with the speeds, usability, and kind of flexibility that NordVPN does offer as a VPN service. If we take a look at the tier list itself, you can see some VPNs come a little close, so they're around 3 or 4 points behind. But a lot of them just aren't really that good in my opinion nowadays. I think the VPN market has consolidated a lot. NordVPN and Surfshark really have taken a lion's share of the industry, and we can kind of see that in Google search trends. For example, let's go ahead and look at NordVPN right here and see how much search volume it does get. As you can see here, for let's say past 5 years, you can see NordVPN on a pretty steady growth track, 38 and 67. But if we look at like 2004 to present, you can even see clearer how monumental the rise to power was. But let's go ahead and compare like ExpressVPN. This used to be even a bigger VPN than Nord back in the day. But nowadays, you could see that it's not even anywhere close. It's really kind of got quite big and they're equal at one point, but really its growth stagnated quite a bit. And this kind of goes into my ranking system. If you look at the history of the tier list itself, a lot of VPNs were more competitive back in the day. I would say I made the tier list right around here. And this was probably when VPNs were closest in terms of scores, but nowadays that's not as much the case. One of the old channel favorites was TorGuard. TorGuard used to be a very good VPN before the management kind of went nuts and decided to stop paying all its affiliates, no longer updated its applications, and ignore feature requests that people have been asking for years. I don't really talk about them too much anymore, but it's a good example of, how things have laid out. Back then, TorGuard was actually bigger than Express and NordVPN around 2015, 2016, and since then, it's become a fraction of the market compared to what it used to be. It's now search value 1, Express is 24, and Nord is 7. That just goes to show you how different the market is than it was back then. There really isn't tons of competition left. We can look at something like IPVanish, which is a pretty big VPN provider, but even then, you can see here that it used to be bigger than all of them combined, and now it's really not big at all. Really, at the end of the day, there's only a couple of VPNs left that are competing against one another, Surfshark being one of them. Surfshark is actually a company owned by NordVPN, or they're actually kind of like sister companies. They kind of merge together or kind of operate independently, but are owned by the same kind of shareholders or whatever. As you can see here, it's still much bigger than any of the other VPNs. Even if you took away NordVPN, it's still going to be quite a bit bigger than these other VPN providers, as you can see just right here. So at the end of the day, your question when you came to this video, is there any VPNs bigger or better than NordVPN? And the answer to that would be aggregately no. On a case-by-case basis, maybe. Do some VPNs collect a little less like analytic data on their website to kind of make themselves seem more private? Sure, that's definitely true. Are some VPNs more open source? Sure, that's also definitely true. But does any VPN have the same server network, combination of features, stream compatibility, long-term deals, and overall excellence that Nord does have? I don't think so. So let me know down in the comments down below if you agree. Use my affiliate link for Nord if you want to get some extra discounts on it and an extra month. And I'll see you in the next video very soon.